Hello, everybody. Asamia beat the bot, so October, you were almost first. You're very close. You were the first one, at least once the stream started, and then Beyond Oblivion right after. Then me, and then Vol. So welcome in, everybody. So we're doing some nerdy music stuff today, but I will wait till there's more, at least a few more people. And just sort of play some music in the meantime. If anyone wants to request something and you have $1 to spare, you can check out the song list. If not, it'll be self-selected. Who dis? Not new haircut or new anything. Who dis? Although I do need to cut my hair. I should probably do that tomorrow. What's up, Lola? How do you song request? Really, what you can do is just like so. Wait, what the heck? Am I crazy? Adulting? Ugh. Yuck. I take requests every day. It's just whether or not people actually want to request something. That's the okay. I should tune. I'm not as tired as yesterday, but for some reason I still just feel a little out of it. I always do at the beginning of the stream. This song isn't at pitch. Oh, then I definitely won't know how to play it. Because those types of requests and stuff, that's actually for me to play. Although, again, if we get enough sort of support for it and stuff, we can definitely do more, song analysis things where people can basically share whatever, like we did 2 streams ago. It's unknown because a lot of these songs have never been requested. Yo, Rich, what's up, dude? Yo, have you been playing Tears of the Kingdom? A lot of the songs have never been requested because I added them while I wasn't doing song requests. And even after, we've been doing song requests since January, so that still gives you an idea of stuff. There have been like, 6, 7 song requests in the past 5 months? I should make a video about song requests on this stream and like the mini history of song requests and turn it into a command, because I was going to go into the details. People don't I know from years of experience that people don't actually not that they don't believe me when I say the things I say, but I don't think they understand the degree to which I mean what I say. I know that because I'll do stuff like this. We'll talk about song requests, and then I'll show people the song list And when they actually see it firsthand with their eyes, the lack of balance in what people request, then they get it. But I don't want to do that every stream. It's annoying. It takes time. So maybe I should just turn it into a video so you can be like, want to see what it's really like? Just watch this video and I'll show you. Yeah, I mean, Oblivion, you know, I'm never gonna, you know, deny support or something, be like, don't give me any money. But I just can't, we can't do that sort of thing right now. I'm just trying to keep it. We could do that, Lola. It's because I know you've cheered and stuff. Welcome back, October. Without requesting anything, so. Also, why does that say improv by YouTube? Yo, Oblivion, thank you for the two gift subs. And for the support the other stream too the other night. Let me do this. I was almost planning on doing a sort of improv thing too. So what I'm gonna do is, in the Baroque era, they would play suites. It's the second to last song? Wait, I'm confused. Oh, you mean you're like actually talking about something like a very specific. You're saying like an improv that's wait, I'm confused. Why does it say Schneef? Wait, I'm confused. What's the second to last song? The improv thing? That makes sense. Why does it say by YouTube? It should just be like improvisation or something, like by me. But so in the Baroque era, this is from 1600 to around 1750. A different song. Yeah, wait, but that improvisation isn't anything specific. That's just like that actually just shouldn't even be on there. So, oh man, this is a little confusing. Because this, okay, I'm going to take care of this now so I don't forget and just to clear stuff up. One sec. Yeah, this, I don't know why this is here. Why won't it let me edit it? What the heck? Dude, what is going on? What the heck? Dude, why can't you should, oh, because I'm not signed. Wait, why am I not signed in? Hold on a second. What's up for fun? Okay, here we go. Click. Hey, there we go. All right, remove. Yeah, Ahmad must have added that, and I must have not seen it. Because yeah, it's from 4 years ago. I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to like clear some. I'm just trying to clear some stuff up. It's been a little, somewhat chaotic at the beginning of the stream, but okay. The Baroque era. This is 1600 to roughly 1750. This is when there are people like Bach, Handel, Vivaldi, these guys. They'd write these collections of dances, essentially, plus some other stuff. So they could be referred to as a partita, a sonata, a suite, something like that. Like a cello suite, a lute suite, a violin sonata, something like that. And it was part of the practice of the people of the time to sometimes improvise a prelude to this. And so what it would do is sort of introduce what you're about to hear, and it would be made up on the spot. So what I'm going to do is attempt to do that. And now this is a little difficult. Maybe I'm actually going to do this in a different way. I'll play this first movement here. And then I will improvise what would be like an introduction. So Vivaldi was a bit earlier, though. He was not. Vivaldi was born in 1786 or 84. He was born 1 year from... 1780. 1 second. Trust me. You may want to. Sorry, 1678. All right, so this is still like that's almost the exact midway point of the Baroque era. So Vivaldi is, about as Baroque as it gets. He was a contemporary to Bach and Handel, exactly, yeah, who were born 7 years later. Oh, for the question of the day, that's a good one. Are you going to be around for a little bit longer? Because I was going to play some music and then wait for just a few more people to get here to start some of the joy of music stuff, as we call it. I actually do. Oh my god! I'm like so. I'm trying to do some things a little different. Is that my new guitar? It is not. No. It's actually a very old guitar, very cheap guitar as well. In fact, it's the cheapest guitar I could find at the music store I got it at many years ago. Okay, so this is pre-Baroque, although Dowland sort of bleeds into the Baroque era a little bit, but stylistically, he's pretty just, he's very Renaissance stylistically. English Renaissance. Almost all his songs were essentially about love and or death. Usually it was, they're typically, even when upbeat, there's even the upbeat songs about love, or there's always like this air of sadness to it. But this one is very clearly not that at all. It's called Flow My Tears, so they're not happy tears. And some of the words, it's in again English from the late 16th century. So, but you'll be able to understand it. So if you listen to the words, it's ridiculously over the top emo. It's just it's ridiculous. But something I really like about it is that the lute part, everything's written out. The melody for the words and also the accompaniment I'll play. And one of the things you can notice is that it's not going to be like. So I'll play the first part. Just the what would be the lute part, just for the introduction. Also, there's something here. It gets compositionally quite technical. So at one point there's what we call imitation. So one voice or pairing of voices copies another, and you get something that sounds like this. So if you can hear this, there's two groups of things kind of being copied. One is this. And then there's also this. So it's not just like, my weary days, my weary days, my weary days. It's not that. It's my weary days, my weary days. And so there's four different lines independently doing the same thing, but copying each other, but just offset by a bit. And the whole thing comes together to sound like this. Pity is fled, and tears and sighs and groans, my weary days, my weary days, of all joys have deprived. So it's not just a song, it's not just like a pop song or something. It's quite technical from a compositional standpoint. I should sing more. Hey, what's up, Asmodean? Toss a coin. Well, toss a coin to your Witcher is sort of like, well, I won't get into it. I won't get into it. Except this is already out of tune again. I really need to. Okay. I haven't sung at all. I barely even spoken today, so it'll be a little rough. The song is called Flow My Tears. So all these songs, they just get their names from the first line of text. Because the first line of text is, flow my tears, fall from your springs. Flow my tears, fall from your springs, exiled forever, let me mourn. Where night's blackbird her sad infamy sings, there let me live. Down vain lights shine, you no more. No nights are dark.
that in despair there the lost fortunes deplore. Light doth but shame disclose. Never may my woes be relieved, since pity is fled, and tears and sighs and groans my weary days of all joys have deprived. From the highest spire of contentment my fortune is thrown, and fear and grief and pain for my deserts are my hopes, since hope is gone. Hark, you shadow that in darkness dwell, learn to contempt light. Happy they that in hell feel not the world's despite. Hark, you shadows that in darkness dwell, learn to contempt light. Happy they that in hell feel not the world's despite.
What's up, Tonya? Yo, Asmodean, thank you for the 100 bits. And Oblivion, thanks for the 2 gift subs earlier. Dude. It doesn't help that equal-tempered major thirds bother me. How? So, that was some English Renaissance music for you. Some secular English Renaissance music, because there's a big difference between the sacred and secular music of the time. I mean, really kind of any time, but whatever. So, I forgot where this is. Maybe here. Okay, so now I'm going to play this. And so as I'm playing this, to give you a little insight into what's going on in my head, and it relates to what we're gonna do later in the stream is when I'm playing this. I'm not just playing a series of notes. I'm not just going, where do I need to put my fingers here? I need to think about what it sounds like, and not just that. I'm thinking, and ideally with as little energy as possible. You know, I want it to be as automatic as possible. Yo, bonsoir, Brox. How's it going? I want to look at this and go, without thinking, I just want to go, that's A minor. And then F major, even though we don't have a C, but it's basically F major. And E major, even though there's no B. So that the whole chord progression goes. And then A minor in first inversion. D minor, although there's an appoggiatura. E, F again, or maybe D minor. And then to E major again. So when I'm playing this, I want to have that in mind. Because especially if I'm going to be improvising in a second based on this and trying to give like an introduction to this whole collection of music, all of which will be following this format. So like if I were to play the first few measures, the first phrase essentially of each of these movements, it goes like this. And here's the first couple lines of the next part, the next movement. So it doesn't line up perfectly, but it lines up. And then again, the first section of this. No, it's not a reference to the joy of cooking. It's a reference to, yeah, the joy of painting. That's that one, and then the last one. So they're all, for the most part, share something in the beginning. That's what I want to capture with what I'm improvising, and I want to make it musical and all this. So it's very difficult, but we'll do this just to get an idea. Well, actually, let me play F or D minor, G, C, F, C major in second inversion, C. This is gonna be like A minor, G, F, E, D, or B half diminished, E, A minor in first inversion, D minor, or B half diminished, and then it repeats again. So those are some of the things I want to think about as I'm doing this. So I'm going to try. This is going to be improvised, this beginning part. You'll know when it ends. I'll just like actually end, but. group on. I'll try to answer your question if you want to check out the VOD later if you're not going to be here. Yo, what's up, Captain? And Al, good day. How's it going? And Koala, what's up? So, how do you make learning chords stick? Sounds like a dumb question, but no matter how much I try to practice, it never feels comfortable. Yeah, that's a good... Tanya's question is a good follow-up. Do you mean physically? Or, like, how do you make it stick in your mind? Like, how, like, knowing which notes go to which chords and stuff like that. Or if you play this chord or something, what are the notes in it? Both? There's two very different answers because they're very different things, although there is overlap between them. The physical part is a little more straightforward. practice, but you can't just practice. But there is a sense of repetition involved, and so one is knowing and choreographing exactly where your fingers are going to go. So that's part of the comfort or discomfort. That's like knowing ahead of time, if I want to go from this to this. Yo, Open Set, what's up? Nice to see you again. Okay, it's to know that your fingers go through a range of motions, which everyone knows, but there's a difference between knowing something and having it be consciously part of your thought process in the way you approach learning something. Right? Because you maybe look and see A minor on some chord chart and it's like 3 dots, right, where your fingers are, and then D minor and there's 3 more dots here, but the chord chart doesn't say how to get there. Probably doesn't even say which fingers to use, which is another part of it. If you notice, I'm playing D minor like this, as opposed to with my 3rd finger here, because this leaves my hand generally more comfortable, unless I need to do something. Or if maybe this finger, if I have to go like, it's slightly different, but so it's that type of awareness. But it's a combination of that choreography of the finger movements mixed with sort of just proper technique. So the angle that the guitar is at, I've been playing a bunch of Tears of the Kingdom. Anybody been playing Tears of the Kingdom? It is actually, I don't hype stuff up or whatever. I think it has the best puzzles I've ever seen in a video game ever. It's like an engineer's dream for a video game, by the way. But I kind of brought it up because it's all about rotation. This problem is a problem of engineering. And part of this machine is the human body, which is very complex. But you can do things like thinking about the guitar like this. It can be rotated along this axis. So it can do this. It can be rotated along this axis, so it can do this. Let's see, we did this. This one, so it can do this. Okay, so there's these 3 axes at which it can rotate, and then also it can be shifted along all of them too. So the guitar can go up and down, shift like this, and shift forward and back. So thinking about that, if the guitar, for example, is tilted too much like this and too low, your wrist starts to be really awkward like this. In order to compensate, so it's like this, and it's like, in order to compensate, you have to do this, but now this is really awkward for your wrist. So instead, the guitar, it's why you hold the guitar in a maybe goofy way. What's up, Blackberry? You love real life puzzles, but hate game. I'm like the other way around. It depends on unless you mean like actual puzzles. And this is, okay, these puzzles feel like puzzles in real life. There's so much freedom to it. It's not like, there never seems to be one solution, which is overwhelming, but also fun and freeing at the same time. But 8-string multi-scale, trying to play chords. Well, I mean, it's the same principle. So like, you may have to reach farther and stuff, but being aware of some mechanics of the hand, the idea that, you know, bringing your thumb out like this will allow you to reach farther than if you're doing this. Things you can do with your elbow and wrist to try to reach more. But it might be a more mental thing. Music comes from your background, which is all riffs, but kind of based on chords. It gives you an extra finger. Oh, I didn't even mean in terms of that, but you can do that sometimes if you really need to. I saw someone play something recently where they used their thumb like this a whole bunch. And that may be like, I wonder if that's like partly the next step to guitar playing, where that becomes a relatively regular technique of just like, I don't know. can also imagine this finger being used, as much as I don't want it to be, but because that was kind of this finger for a long time, sort of. It's not like people never used it, but it was like, these are the 3 strong fingers, but it's a different thing. But Oblivion, are you thinking about, now, are you thinking about like how to know what makes up a D minor chord, for example? Because that's totally different. But all of the physical stuff is going to be a matter of coordination and understanding a relatively basic understanding of physics and mechanical engineering as it relates to the human body and, well, strings. Don Ross, is that Bob Ross's brother? Stupid joke. All right, I've never heard of him. Dude, no, you need to do all the hand yoga. That's what you want from your hand. That's a good way to think of it. You want your hand to be like a yoga expert, so you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. Just do everything tapping. Then you might as well get yourself a Chapman stick, if you know what that is. But I'm still a little. Hey Ned, what's up? I'm looking for a tiny bit more clarity from Beyond Oblivion, because it's like, which is all riffs but kind of bass line chords. I can play that, but then as soon as I try to build it and make it a chord, it just falls apart. It feels like it's a physical thing you're talking about, but I'm not sure actually. Maybe an example would be good. It's partly needing to understand how to actually build and telling me to play a D major, but unless you want a power chord. Okay, so it is about the mental thing. All right. So there's only has about 20 records out. Come to me when you let me know when he has 21. That's when I start taking people seriously. Anybody can record 20 albums, but 21 is a whole different ball game. Okay, this gets into what we're gonna do today. So, okay, we're in the flat world. Does this look? Do these things look like they're like lagging? This doesn't look very smooth, dude. I think I need a new computer. Pixie Flamethrower. Hi, I'm Haley. Hello, Haley. Dude, the fan in my GPU has been going nuts with everything I do. From opening up new tabs to playing games to doing this. It's just like going crazy. This computer is 5 years old, so. Yeah, this looks so shitty. What the? This looks, does it look? The GPU cooler, the GPU, I'd have to imagine, because just looking at the diagnostics, the CPU is not being pushed very much. The thing that's getting pushed right now is, it's not memory, it's not the CPU, it's everything is like, the bottleneck is always the GPU at this point. So 1 second here. Let me just see something. Oh, I guess it's fine. I guess it's just OBS is making it look weird. Hold on. Yeah, OBS is just making it look strange. 1 second. I want to try one more thing. I want to see what it looks like on stream. Oh, see, it looks shitty on stream. That's how it looks in OBS. That's weird. Hmm. 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 Looks normal? Oh, man. Maybe it's always looked like that, which isn't good. It's hard to explain, but it's not supposed to look like that. Oh, it is like the frame rate of it is not right. Oh my god, get on the bar. Looks fine to you. Hey, what's up, Admiral? Yeah, it's jittery. What I can tell you is, oh man, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see over here how smooth it actually is. Oh god, you probably can't. It's so much smooth. Oh my god, it is so much smoother over there. It's like crazy. Has it always been like that? Wait, can you guys? No, you can't really. I'm watching it through. You can't. Damn it. Okay. Oh yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Bunch of issues today. All right, whatever. We're gonna have to deal with it. Now is not the time to. Do this. Okay. Whatever. Okay, back to this. And you lose frame rate. Interesting. Well, what I can say is that, so I'm on OBS, but when I'm looking in Keysight is the program I use that this is Keysight that you're seeing. Keysight is fine. I'm like looking at it over here. It's just the way it shows up in OBS. I'll have to deal with this. It's specifically messing up the capture. I'm gonna have to look at this later. It'll be fine for now. It'll be fine for now. You'll survive. Yeah, it's not, again, yeah, so it's not even, it's, I'll actually check that out for some other things, but this specifically has to do with the capture, but okay. All right, so what we were saying before, how to build these chords. This goes directly into what we're gonna do, so. There's a bunch of information about music. We call music theory. I don't like the word, but it's the word we use, music theory. And I'm trying to come up with a sort of comprehensive approach to learning this stuff in a very real way. Because I know a lot of people who've learned this stuff, but not in any sort of functional way. I'm just gonna show this again. I showed it last night. I'm gonna show it again because it's applicable and because I want to. because I want to. Let's see. Toyota Super Compilation? No. Business Pitch Music? No, that's not it. Dylan Beato? No. Jacob Collier interview? Damn it, no, that's not it.
Instrument, you can't improvise on the instrument. So, and in the class, increase your fingerboard knowledge. Without knowing how to work on the instrument, you can't improvise on the instrument. So, and in the classical world, sadly, fingerboard knowledge is like in the back of the bus. It's just not there. I mean, in general. So I've always made a huge thing about teaching that. It's nice, I think, nice to know and critical to know anytime you're playing a piece what chord you're actually playing. What is the function of that chord in the key? Even what key you're in. I mean, I've had students that could win competitions, but when I first had them, I'd say, stop. What chord are you playing? I don't know. What key are you in? I'm not sure. You know, they just, incredible musicians, but they just had not been taught this and their head wasn't there. That's a no-go, right? If you want to improvise, you got to know something about it. You got to be much more well-rounded musician, and that's what I'm into. You know, this. So I was lucky to have all the jazz training. That really helped me open my ears. You need to increase your.
Okay, so that's basically the key of what's going on here. So what does that sort of look like? Well, you have to know how chords are built. what it means to be in a key. This is what it means to be in C major. It means these are the notes we use. These are the default notes we use. Right? This is the sound of C major. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So just look at the white keys. That's C major here. And this applies to guitar, but it's just simpler to do it this way at first. So you need to know that whatever note you're starting on as the foundation of the chord, it's not always the bass, but it's not always the lowest note, but here it's going to be. You play every other note. And that's what gives you the chords in the key and what gives you their quality. So quality in music is, when we use the word in this sense, it means whether it's major, minor, diminished, augmented, whether it's a seventh chord that's augmented to sharp 5, the flat 9. Okay. So if we start here and we play every other note, it gives us C major. If we start here and play every other note, it gives us D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and it repeats over and over. So everyone learns that in school, and you need to know that. And there's some memorization that should take place. If you're doing it in a different key, you have to use a different set of notes. If it's A major, it's no longer this. Or I should say, it's no longer this. It's now this. And a way to know that is using the circle of fifths. That'll tell you the sharps or flats in each key, which is good at first, but you want to get it to the point where you don't even have to think about it. You just know. But it's the same process from there. Do this, skip over this note, play the next one, skip over this one, play that one. The next note in the scale. You can never get your head around it. Is there something specific you were missing? There's all sorts of uses for it. The first thing, the most straightforward thing about it is that it tells you what the sharps and flats are in any given key. That's really what it is. But the thing is, because there's patterns in music, and because this thing shows something about music, okay, so this circle represents an aspect of music. There are patterns in music, therefore there are patterns in this. I wouldn't worry so much at the moment. You can, and this would be good to do like with a teacher or just finding stuff out on your own. Cute guy in the middle. Oh, who's that? Oh, looks like me. Oh, wait. Oh, well. So that's all it's telling. If you look at, for example, if you look here, you want to know A major, you look at the 3 o'clock spot on it. There's A and there's 3 sharps. Does it look weird when I don't have my headphones? It's interesting because I do have my headphones on like all the time when you guys see me. But you see F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. And so then plus the rest of the white keys. So that's why this was A major. I do have a Spock here. I'm half Vulcan. I still have to do the 23andMe. I don't know if I'm half Vulcan or half elf. Yeah, if only my hair moved. My hair is like a Brillo pad. That's what kids used to call me in grade school to tease me. Or specifically SOS, because that was a type of Brillo pen. Okay, so then from here, you get the chords in the key. But at the moment, everything right now is very, none of this is new for most people. All these sorts of things are told when you study music, at least. But what's really not stressed, and this is like arguably the most important part, and this is why I've been like losing my mind over this stuff, trying to, this is why I've been sort of yelling at the top of my lungs on stream about this and elsewhere, is that unless you actually put this into practice on a regular basis, it does you almost no good. It is not very useful to just know that A major has 3 sharps, or that they're F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. It's not a bad thing to know, and you do need to know it, but that's not good enough. It's just not good enough. You need to mess around with A major. You need to play stuff. Whatever key you find yourself in, you need to do it, and you need to do it a lot. So that you can do this from, you can approach music from the other side. So many people approach music from one side. The notes are given to them and they play it. But they never give the notes. Oh, I should do, yes, thank you for, there is a way. I wish we could do both at the same time too, but now it's sharps. Thank you. Just curious, what are the chances that, no, it's still weird frame rate. Is there, what a port, it's okay. I still understood, it was all good. Okay, this is really what it is, A major, because they're sharps, thank you. Perfect. So being able to like harmonize, even something as simple as harmonizing a scale, where the scale is both in the bass and then also as the melody. So what I mean by that is if you go like, and even doing something like, you want to be able to see right away, we could go, or so I wanted to very quickly both hear and identify and know that, like, knowing what a secondary dominant chord is also fine, but if you've never used a secondary dominant chord, if you've never been the one who's deciding to use it, who's making that choice, and to make it come into existence, then again, good luck. Like, the notes is a whole thing on its own, but that's, so what I'm saying here applies to everything you do. So there's always a level of memorization. There's like different levels to understanding something. It's even that idea of learning has even, in the steps of learning, has even been, there have been different systems of describing it formally in the past. But one of the things that has to happen is you have to just be introduced to the information. So you have to just be told. And being told doesn't mean now you know the information. In fact, saying that you know something or not is typically, the word to know is usually not usually, but it is often not a good word to describe this stuff. Again, a lot of people know what a secondary dominant chord is, but they can't actually use it. But it's like, why not? You know what it is. It's like, because it's a different type of knowing. So being introduced to something, knowing the pure facts and memorizing them is at the lower part of this pyramid. Where at the very top is, some people use the word crystallization, or synthesis, things like that. And it's like, what can you actually do something once you have the information? What can you do with the information? Anoeka? Maybe? Anoeka? Thanks for the follow. So it's like, can you do this where you're going, and then play this? And here's another secondary dominant chord. Or doing it in the bass too is good. So going like, I shouldn't add the extra stuff, but. Being able to do that, and then not for the sake of being able to play a scale, but just the fact that it makes you actually put this stuff into practice. So you were saying trying to even remember the notes is a whole thing on its own. That requires a different form of practice, and some of it may honestly need to be done on paper or on your instrument, but just in some way where you're actually thinking. You need to find yourself in a position where you're actually using the information, where you need to use the information that you're trying to learn. Because if you're doing this, a lot of guitarists, classical guitarists, practice scales, and they practice Segovia scales. If you're doing this, if you're practicing these scales and you know the scale forms, and let's say you're doing A major, and you know that the A major form is the exact same as the G major form, but just shifted over. You don't need to know a single note that you are playing. You just need to know where to put your fingers. And so if that's the case, it's not sufficient to do this and go, now I'm learning A major. You're not. You're just not learning it. You're learning 2 4 1 2 4 1 3 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 4. That's what you're learning with shifts in there. So on the guitar, then what do? Well, you do the same thing. This is all the same thing. It's putting something into practice. Play in A major. Improvising on the guitar is really difficult. There's a lot of planning that needs to be involved. And I have started a way in which you can I've started some sort of system to do this. But all of this stuff is putting something into practice. Repetition brings understanding. Music is a unique discipline, and that your intellectual and physical development are not concurrent or even paced. That is true also. They occur at plateaus where one will excel and the other is dormant. It's not like learning golf swing where you learn to swing the club, then hit 50 buckets of balls to become consistent. Yeah, so it looks like this. Your learning tends to follow a sort of double helix model. Typically people's ears are better than their physical understanding starting out. So let's say this is your ear and you practice a bunch and all of a sudden your technique gets better than your ear, but then that one crosses over and you're like, oh, I suck at playing. Oh man, I'm really good. And then your ear gets better. Oh, I suck. Oh, I'm really good. And then it sort of goes like that. So anytime your ear crosses over that point, you get to that point, you go, I suck. I mean, you don't say I suck. Maybe you do say I suck. But you go like, oh man, I gotta do that. Dude, I've gotten so much better. I'm like, oh man, dude, I need to practice so much. Dude, I've gotten so much better. Oh my god. That's just what happens. But when it comes to the theoretical stuff, again, getting back to this thing that Andrew York mentions in this video, and that I've said a million times, is that I don't think improvisation is a fun little nifty, cool, nice thing to do. I think it's 100% absolutely crucial. So that when you're playing something, you understand what you're playing. And you're not just seeing a series of dots. Like, I was going to say I can't describe to you how much easier it is, but I can describe to you. And I've done it on stream, and I'm going to keep doing it because I love it as an example, because everyone understands this. In fact, I'm going to take this website and put it in my music theory bookmark folder, because it's so useful to do this. Whoops, hey. One sec. Control D. Theory. Okay. A bunch of you have seen this before, but this is the difference. This is what it looks like. This is what looking at music looks like when you've put in the work of trying to understand the notes and the relationships between them. And that doesn't mean doing exercises on a worksheet. It means actually doing it. Improvising, I think, is the best way. That in conjunction with composing, but they're almost the same process. But improvising, the way I'm using the term, means composing in real time, composing on the spot. The performance and composition are happening simultaneously. Okay, this is what it looks like when you're not familiar with that stuff. It's the same set of letters. It's still 26 letters, the same letters. They look the same. None of the rules are different. You just don't understand most of these words, and the words you do understand probably aren't used very often. One of these got in here. I don't know how this word snuck in there. I mean, I guess statistically it's going to happen, but so that's what's happening here. So by putting this stuff into, the settings don't exclude simple words. It just adds in more complicated words. So it's, So that's what you want to do here. And yeah, what Blackberry is saying is exactly it. And whenever you feel like you suck, one of the best things to do is to play something you haven't played in a while. Play and or read something you haven't played in a while. Play for someone who hasn't seen you play in a while, because they'll notice the difference that you won't notice. Or listen to something you played a long time ago and go, oh, wait, no, I'm way better than I was then. Those are the three main things to do in that situation. And so Beyond Oblivion's questions go right into some other stuff here. Here are some ways in which you can use this. You can do this on the guitar too, but now you need to know the notes on the guitar, which tends to be a little more difficult for people, because like on the piano, you only need to learn this, and it all just repeats. Everything just gets shifted over. Every C sharp looks like every other C sharp. They're all the same. That's not the case on the guitar. Or anything that uses a fingerboard. Okay, so what you need to, we'll go back to C major, because it's always the easy. There's no reason to make it any more complicated than it needs to be. C major is the best for this. Don't try to be a tough guy. That's another tiny little piece of advice. Just do it with C major, starting off. Just do it. Just do it. It's like, pick a thing to learn it in. It's like G flat major. It's like, no, don't pick G flat major. Stop. Just do C major, please, for your sake. Well, in order to learn that on the guitar, it's sort of the same process where you can do a lot of sight reading, which forces you to identify the notes. But then again, improvising, applying the principles that I'm about to go over. What is not sufficient is going, this is not putting it into practice. This is an E, this is an F, this is an F sharp, this is a G, this is a G sharp, this is an A, this is a B flat, this is a B, this is a C. For one, that's tedious and not fun. Sounds terrible. Like, there's nothing good about that, but it's also ineffective. It's just C235. Wait, C235? It's not a gun. It's not a gun or a car. So it's like, just start with C major. Just start with C major. You could even do the same thing we did here. You could do the C major scale. I'm gonna do the same thing where we went. So you can just do the same thing. Hey, Turbo, what's up? Sleep over my beautiful music? Well, thank you. This stream will have a good amount of talking, so hopefully the talking won't be that bad. But here's kind of what this looks like. So here's one of the things you can do. For those who don't know anything about sort of what we're talking about, this is, if people who have no formal understanding of music are listening right now, and there's one thing to take away from this, it's that the music, almost all of, if not all of, it depends on who it's in reference to, but almost all of, if not all of the music we listen to is built on this principle. and that is that the music, we use tertiary harmony, which is a fancy way to say that chords are built by just playing every other note. You just skip over one note, only one. This chord, it gets built by just skipping over one note. Forget about the black keys for now, we're in C major. See, that's just the chords for canon in D with horrendous voice leading. C235 is part of an old joke of not playing C enough? I must be missing it. Unless it's a I don't know, a reference to unless it's a chemistry reference? Uranium 230. So what you can do here, did I forget the joke already? I don't think I ever knew the joke to be able to forget it. This has all the information you need and more. That's right, and more. Wait, is this a joke from yesterday? I'm mad. A flat minor. Oh, geez. Boo. The dude. Oh, the dude that was like, dude, you're not gonna play C5 more. It's like, oh god. I see what you mean now. Okay. Dude, you gotta play C5. It's like, okay, all right. just that one. This key needs to be played more. That's your advice? What terrible advice. Not to mention the fact that it was just wrong, but okay. So here's what you can do. So for those who are there, it has this. For one, if you don't have an instrument whatsoever, if you want to just get a piano keyboards are cheap. You don't even need a full-size one. But you can get a free one online. Did he mean power chords? No, he literally meant, because he said play C5 and I think C3. He said play those keys more. And I was like, that is one of the most insane pieces of advice / criticism that I've ever seen on stream. But if you go here, this takes you to a piano. It's really janky, but it's free. So you get what you paid for. You get what you pay for. And if you pay nothing, you get very little. But this piano at least allows you to mess around with stuff. And so you can use your computer keyboard to do this stuff, or you can click on it, or whatever. And it can tell you the notes and stuff. So it can just be a reference too, if you want. All right. Here's some stuff for exercises and things like that. But this is kind of all you need to know. I played these chords. That's what you see right here. That's the sound of these chords. We give them numbers. We just happen to use Roman numerals. It's because Arabic numerals are used for something else. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why are some uppercase and others lowercase? Good question. The ones that are uppercase are major chords. The ones that are lowercase are minor chords. What's that one that has the degree sign? That's a good question. That means it's diminished. That's just the symbol that's used. This tells you the notes that are in them. This shows it what it looks like on the staff. This just tells you the note names. Want to play a C major chord? Here it is. What if you don't know where these notes are? Just go up here, C, E, G. Skip over every other note. Okay, cool. This map is a good way to put it into practice. You can pick these numbers and follow these arrows. It may look overwhelming at first. I promise it makes sense. You can just, look, it even tells you where to start. Oh, thanks, chord motion in a major key. Start here. Just pick any number. Maybe, boop, 6. So we started with C. 1. Where's 1? Here. What are the notes? C, E, G. Where are those? Right here. C, E, G. Okay, now what? Boop, 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 boop. To 6. You got to make that noise or else it doesn't work. Haha, thanks, Bob Ross. Okay, 6. What the heck is that? Boop, boop, boop. 6. A minor. What are those notes? A, C, E. Where are those? Right here. Cool. So that's this. Where can we go from here? Follow this thing. Let's just go right along to 4. 4 up here. F, A, C. F, A, C. And then, what about to 5? 5, G major, G, B, D. G, B, D. What does that give you? Kafkd. What does that look like? What can we do with this? Anything we want. Okay. Let's start out simple. Start out simple. Start out simple. It's already difficult. If it's not difficult, that means this, you don't even need the information in the first place, but that's, so don't, that's right. Kokoro, start out simple. Please. Start out simple. For your sake. You should push yourself to the limit, but don't start at the limit. You'll never push yourself beyond it if you just start there. You have to, because here's what you can do with simplicity. So C major, we're not using any of these. We're just using 4 chords. I'm not even gonna change the voicing of this chord. I'm just gonna play them in root position and just these triads. And anytime I play this chord, anytime I play a chord, I'm only gonna use the 3 notes in that chord. You'll see it represented here by just, well, the names of the notes plus the same color. So when if I'm playing this, I'm only gonna use green, blue, and brown. So that's something I purposely played slowly. Most of the stuff you play is not going to be intense and crazy because that, by its nature, tends to require more coordination. Adulting, you should just forget about the whole adulting thing. Adulting stinks. Why do things you should be doing when you can just learn about music? But if you want, you can. Well, if you mess around with the chords, you may stumble upon one that sounds that gives you a different character. But that's like for a little bit later. We can start. Well, does this sound familiar to anyone? Well, we'll do this. It's not going to be in the right key. So for those who are like, actually, I know, I just want to keep it in C major. A genius wrote that. That's one of the most recognized pieces of music ever. What is that? It's a 1 chord, followed by a 5 chord. And then it actually goes back to 1, and then back to 5, and then back to 1. If it's good enough for Mozart, it's good enough for you. Do you see how that's just 3 colors? That's just a C major chord. So even something like that can be made using this super simple principles. Those chords are great for memory. Well, listen, is that like part of like a playlist? Like, listen to Mozart's music to improve your memory. Yeah, if you really want to be a genius, if you really want to do something crazy, give yourself a bunch of restrictions. Take it from me. I went to school with a bunch of composition majors. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. Shots fired. You know how not genius their crazy nonsense compositions were? Because they tried too hard and got so far. But in the end, doesn't even matter. If you want to leave, I understand. I won't hold it against you. that was terrible. So that song, for the people who didn't get it, I was singing a song by Linkin Park. That's just this. That's almost the same progression we're doing. What is that? ACE. Where's ACE? Boop, 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 boop. Scanning, scanning, scanning. Identified. ACE, identified. That's an A minor chord. That's a 6 chord. FAC. Scanning, identifying chord, name, and quality. Boop, 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 boop. FAC identified. F major. That's a 4 chord. CEG, identifying chord. Boop. Oh, right away. CEG, that's your 1 chord. Major chord. Last chord. GBD, searching for chord. Boop, 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 boop. GBD, chord identified. G major, 5 chord. So the chord progression is 6, 4, 1, whoops, 5. So Lolo, that depends on the person. Unless you actually mean by you mean specifically me. Also, Nad has tried hard and got far, and then it actually did not matter. It's true. It's true. It's true. So the chord progression, some of the pop things won't follow this map here, and actually even stuff that's like this is like a very classical, and I mean like Baroque, classical era stuff. But even then, there's things that doesn't follow this. This is just a suggestion starting off. But let's see. It starts with 6 and goes to 4, which goes to 1, which goes to 5. So even this Linkin Park song, you could have stumbled upon it using this map here. Because I'm the one answering. So even for me, it depends. It depends on what it starts with. Sometimes a song can start with the words. It can start with a melody. It can start with a bass line. It can start with a chord progression. It can start with a motive. It can not really start with anything planned out at all. It can start with a mood. That's probably the best one. Think about the mood, and you can come up with words that describe the process, but the process probably isn't, ideally the process isn't necessarily conscious like this. Like I'll show you in a second. So Blackberry's old composition professor said he could figure out the creative device anyone in the classroom could come up with to write a piece of music. He took a piece of sheet music, laid it over a connect the dots picture, assigned random note lengths and bars so that it sounded like music. He was pissed when I told him his analysis was wrong, proceeded to trace the outline of a bunny rabbit. Wait, hold on. Wait. Okay, my old composition professor said he could figure out the creative device anyone in the class could come up with to write a piece of music. Oh, you did this without him looking. You took a piece of sheet music, laid it over a connect the dots picture of a bunny, random note lengths. His analysis was wrong, proceeded to trace the outline of a bunny. So, what did he say your process was? I'm curious. What did he think you were doing? Although, I'd be curious because you said you altered the note lengths. Although you assigned random note lengths. Did this just... Well, it wasn't random note lengths if you did it to sound like music. I know what you mean by that. Random, but... It's what happens when people do this. One second. Watch. I'll show you guys. Okay, perfect. I'm purposefully not showing it. Okay, so you already know what this is. Yeah. This is this is a little bit cheating though. This music would not look like a cat if you wrote it out normally. Because what they're doing here is like these stems should not be curved. It just shouldn't be curved. These down here should not be this long. They just shouldn't, and they're at different height. This is just like incorrect. Like look at these up here. So this is kind of cheating. And by kind of, I mean it's very much cheating. This just isn't. It wouldn't look like a cat. This is not how you're supposed to write this up. Out. So this is cheating. There's articulation markings to it's cheating. But it just reminded when BlackBerry, when you said you traced a rabbit, it's yeah, BlackBerry's music would be you said it sounded terrible. That's what a real, just purely note depiction of a cat or a rabbit, or in this case a cat, would actually sound like. It wouldn't sound like this. It just wouldn't. It just wouldn't. Okay, so if we're well, we can do the Linkin Park thing. 6. Remember, we gave these notes numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it repeats. So this is 6. This is 4. This is 1. This is 5, and it just repeats. So you can write a song that the estate of Marvin Gaye would sue you for based on what I am showing you right now. 3 secrets to music Marvin Gaye does not want you to know. You will get sued for this information. This streamer gives illegal information to viewers. Ed Sheeran did what with music? You won't believe how easy it is to write a hit pop song. Have I captured you with a shitty title? This one, dude, BlackBerry, what we did the first time was also an Ed Sheeran song. We were not knowing what it was, darling, or something. The next year's mine. Between my arms. Okay, so perfect is literally just the 2 things we happen to do. I promise you guys, I did not plan this out, but that is what this hit song is. And I'm going to sue Ed Sheeran for it. I'm not going to use the official video just in case the video gets it flagged for copyright.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. Well, I found
Alright, thanks Blackberry, take care.
beautiful and sweet.
But guys, you hear how it's the same? So now it's just in A flat.
I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. Well, I found a girl.
So that was just. Think of the lowest note first, and then again you play every other note. It is like a.
Earth angel, will you be mine? I love you, darling, darling, all of the time.
All of that is based, you have all that information contained here. It's all here. All of that is right here. It's all here. It's all here. If you're like, I'm above playing in major keys, fine. Try something in a minor key. It's the same process here. Same process. Think you're too good for major keys? Try this. Try this on for size. And here's a circle of fifths if you need it as a reference. So this just tells you, this is if you want to play in other keys. But with this tells you major keys, minor keys with no sharps or flats, major key with no sharps or flats. This tells you what to add on if you want to play in a different key. And with this information contained in just these 2 pages, you can play. I don't know how to say this without sounding like some gimmicky, what's it called? God damn it. Infomercial thing. You've got Music X, years of study available in minutes. Maybe I just need to put the word oxy in front of it. It's oxy theory. Or music wow. So all this stuff I'm doing here is still fundamentally 4 chords. Hey, for fun, welcome back. Welcome back. We can maybe answer your question now. You have to be able to make heads or tails of it first. I'm going to give more instructions, just step-by-step instructions. But right now, if you follow what I've said, I've actually I've gone through the process, right? It looks like a lot, but I'll have to label things very clearly, but and just because you have the information, it doesn't mean you'll be able to use it like right away. Like we were talking about before when it comes to learning. No teacher, no person, it doesn't matter what. You're not just going to be able to be given, just shown information, even information that you can make heads or tails of, and then all of a sudden just go, oh, that's what you do? Like, okay. Like that's never going to happen. No one's going to be able to do that for you. So if that's what you're looking for, don't, or else you're going to get scammed by Stephen Ridley. Because that actually, I didn't even mean to do this, but that is actually essentially what he promises you. That's how everything is packaged. That for essentially 3 minutes, in 3 minutes, you'll go from knowing nothing to all of a sudden just going, and just playing these same chords anyway. And major keys are easier to write it. Major keys are easier right away, objectively. Why? Because let's take a look at that's what happens in a minor key. Minor keys are a little tricky. Uh-oh, what happened here? What the heck? This doesn't look like the one up here. This is so much simpler. The fuck? What? This is 7 chords. What is this? Why are there 8? What is going on here? Someone lied. Okay. Oh, God. And why does this have this What's going on here? Wait, this one has the degree sign too? Uh-oh. What do we do? Minor keys are much more difficult because we can't use the same principle. A minor has no sharps or flats. How do we know that? You just know. No, how do we know that? Because this circle tells us A minor. No sharps or flats. Cool. Now I can play an A minor. Not so fast, bucko. A minor. So this is A minor. What the hell? But that looks just like C major. All right. Wait a second, what's going on? That doesn't sound right. What? Huh. Does that sound like A minor? Or does this sound more like A minor? That last one does, you say, that I totally hear you saying through the screen. But you played this note. Everything's messed up. I thought you said this was A minor. I thought you said there were no sharps or flats. It's because I lied to you. I was trying to deceive you. Well, how about this? What if I told you you can use this note too? What? I don't understand though. Good. Yeah, so don't worry about it. that's something to look into if you want the real quick version of it. When you play the chords starting on the 5th scale degree, 5 notes up from here, we gave them numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you play 5 notes up, you play this G sharp. And the notes you play, so this is where the harmony comes from, hence why this note is in harmonic minor. And the notes you play in the melody are these two, hence why they're in the melodic minor scale. So that's not a mode. These are the when we think about scales, these are like pure scales as we use the term. A scale can, in a certain sense of the word, can be any collection of notes that go like in a row. So those are our 3 typical minor scales, and this is our major scale. A way of thinking about modes is that our ear is being shifted in some way so that we no longer hear this note that we're starting from when choosing these notes. So like, okay, C major is the only key that has all the white notes, all the white keys here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it repeats. A mode is going to be when you shift what your ear hears as the tonic, or like the place of being at rest, where you kind of start and or end. So if you were to do this, if we were to go like this, well, that wasn't C major, but we only use white keys. That also wasn't D minor because we didn't use this. Well, then what the heck? Our ear was shifted to hear things around this. How was that done? Well, we started by just outlining that chord. Like 3 times. 2 times. It's like, wow, with no other context, this is just D minor. But that's not what happens. And it ends here. So it's telling us our ear is being directed to orange, these orange, D. But we're using these notes. One of the simpler ways to understand and actually put a mode into use is to have something just being sustained. I'm grounding you in D. It's like you hear this. This is what your ear is drawn to. Count. I was literally just about to. It's funny because I was gonna say, but look what happens if we do this. But now I have to change what I'm doing in over here as well. And this is part of the sound of Phrygian, yeah. Or it could be this. Well, actually, let's do this. What happens if we do G? You're hearing this all as an ascent from the initial that. Well, that is really important, and that gets at how this stuff has to do with your ear. There's a subjective nature to it, and I don't mean in the sense of how we often use the term subjective. I mean, like, it literally has to do with you being that there's a person perceiving something. So we could go like this. Now, what I attempted to do just there was to cleanse your palate, but in a very particular way. I wanted to cleanse it with the flavor of Mixolydian, G Mixolydian. As opposed to going like this. Well, now we're in. Oh, jeez. I have to do it again. Okay, so we're here. What I couldn't do is if I well, now your palette has been shifted to C major. It's almost like your palette never gets cleansed. It only gets shifted. So now if I did this, this combination of melodic stuff and harmonic things. So me specifically going. And like doing this. Phrygian, so the one on D was Dorian, yeah. The hypnosis was in what mode? Hypnosis? The exotic one? Okay, so that gives us modes. This wasn't even actually introduced to me in college, and I got a degree in music. Modes of the minor scale. So a mode, in the way we're thinking about it right now, is that you have these scales, what we're going to call scales. So that's major, minor, natural minor, harmonic minor, melodic minor. Okay, so we have 4 scales, and each of those scales has a set of modes, kind of. A minor, we don't count that one. Why do you think we don't count A minor as something being a mode of the natural minor scale? And yeah, it was super medieval fantasy vibes, which I can get into. The 2 of them that should give the most medieval fantasy vibes are Dorian and Mixolydian. So Dorian is a melodic and harmonic, just about dropping 6 and 7. Yeah, harmonic is... Okay, this is natural. Harmonic means this changes to this. Melodic means this changes. Natural, harmonic, melodic. Hey, what's up, Derwin? Yeah, so tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, or if you learn it as whole, whole, half, a whole step, then a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a whole step, and a half step. Well, if you do this, if we think, and Demolo, what's up? If this was D Dorian, okay, so that was one of the, that means I'm using all the white keys, so it's a mode of C major. Well, what if we pretended it was a mode of A minor? So A minor uses all the white keys? It's the exact same thing. So it doesn't change anything. So there's no point in thinking about modes of the natural minor scale, because literally nothing changes. You're still, because the only difference between major, a major scale, and a natural minor scale is where they start. So in terms of modes, it doesn't matter. So when you're thinking of modes, there's 3 places to get it from, for the most part. The major scale, the harmonic minor scale, and the melodic minor scale. Because those have 3 different, completely different sets of notes. And none of those notes exist in any other key anywhere. So now what you can do is, I don't know if this is the hypnosis exotic one you were thinking of, but that's typically when this happens. And you have this interval. It's not a whole step. It's not a half step. It's bigger than a whole step. What? How can something be more than a whole? How can less be more? More is more. How can less be more? Hello, Fair. How are you doing? So we call the intervals by the number of like notes between them. So this is, okay, that was a unison. It's the same note. This is a second of some sort. It happens to be a major second. That's not the biggest deal, but second, third, this is a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, a 7th, an octave, and so on. Well, this is a major second. That's a minor second. That is an augmented second. And that sound is what gives so many people this like exotic Middle Eastern fantasy something vibe, that sort of thing. And you have to say it like that. Exotic. Major, minor, harmonic, melodic, plus 12 notes, some 7 modes, 336 sets to learn and identify. That is a good point to bring up, because here's the thing. That is right, 336 sets to learn to identify. But that's why memorization is not sufficient. It's why memorization isn't good. Is because humans tend to not be good at memorizing in this way. Even people who are like master memory experts don't memorize in this way. They'll do something, they'll have like a memory palace type thing, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. The best way, this is why you need to practice stuff. This is why you need to use it, because that process changes this from memorization, and it goes... Harmonic played it once, but those two words can be used in that way, but not in terms of these scales. I'll get to that in just a second. Okay. What you want to do, I'm telling you what you want to do. What you want to do is take information. All this information I'm giving you is very literal. It's very precise. It's the equivalent in a certain sense. It's pretty close. The analogy isn't perfect, but this is almost like the machine code of a program you're using, what you're seeing on your computer. What's a little better is that it's the code underneath, but I kind of like using binary as the part of this analogy. Okay, so what happens? Hey, what's up, Pause? Use a memory palace? Yeah, that's why people do it, because humans are terrible. What a memory palace is a form of this process. What we are good at is thinking about things at higher levels of abstraction. Okay, why? Because that takes all these little bits of information and compresses them just like you compress a file. And if you can compress something, you can transfer the information around much quicker, and you can hold on to larger, you have more storage. Because you have a limited amount of memory and a limited amount of processing power. It helps to think about your brain quite literally as a computer. So, compress the files, and you need to learn how to decompress or like unzip the files. And this, what I've been explaining the whole stream, is essentially how you can do that, because we don't have programs to do it. So instead of programs, we have to like use techniques. A memory palace is sort of a memorization expert's, one of their forms of compressing and unzipping files. Like, you have to do something to do it. So instead of doing, if I hear this, or if I see these notes, okay, it takes a lot more time and energy and storage space to go, those notes were A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. I can compress it by going, that's A minor, A natural minor. And then, so many of us, maybe we can continue this analogy to refer back to the problem that we started the stream out with. Most musicians, holy shit, okay, this is it. Most musicians practice compressing the files. They find out what a melodic minor is. But they never, and so they go, that is a melodic minor. Great. You're halfway done. You're only halfway done though. But most people stop there. So then when they need to use that information, you'd go, yeah, but don't they know that if you were to ask them what a melodic minor is, it's this? That's not what I mean. What I mean by that is, what I mean by unzipping the file and being able to use it again is you have to do this. You have to be able to answer the question that Derwin asked. This is a melodic minor. What I just did there is the process of extracting back out the original information. It's not saying that a melodic minor is A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp. I can't even use words because it's not the words, it's doing this. And in that, I also extracted out what it means to go from a 5 chord to a 1 chord in A minor. So you want to go through the process of absorbing this information, but then you need to practice, you need to come up with a tool to make the information come back out. Once you've musicians tend to like absorb all this information, but then they don't do anything with it. And so you ask them to use it. You go, play something in A minor. And they go, what? Play what? I don't know. Like, exactly. So this is what I was saying to Oblivion earlier. It's like, oh, how do I memorize and get my, like, how do I work my mind around these chords? And this is exactly it. You have to do something with it. That could involve playing this in a scale or something. Let me not start so close together like that, but so that was both an example of, and again, a form of working on the extraction of the information. And if you do that a lot, and if you do it in different keys, and you go slowly, maybe you do it in the bass, you go like... We could do this. If we're using natural minor, and from there you can start doing more with it. minor. So I just went from there, from A minor, all the way to G minor, back to A minor. And I was only able to do that because I've practiced taking this information contained here, mainly. This is a big part of the source of information, and these progressions and these notes and stuff. And you've seen on stream over the course of years and years, you've seen me rack my brain. And whenever I'm racking my brain like that, that's strengthening the, whatever application I'm using to compress and unzip the files. But that's what you're seeing there. Also, bonsoir, Tanguy. So that's what needs to happen here. And then there's, without memorizing each individual scale and no. Yeah, so you understand the process as opposed to just the individual parts. It's like, well, think about this. We, in a certain sense, you have the ability to memorize an infinite string of numbers. And you're going to be like, but that's impossible. Or maybe you know where I'm going with this. Well, you can think about it like this. It's like most people can only remember 5 new bits of information in the forms of numbers or something. And there's some truth to that, but that's because a bunch of specifics are being left out. Because I bet I can give you a sequence of numbers that is more than 5 that you will be able to hear for the very first time and recite back to me. So if I were to tell you, recite back these numbers, and think about how many numbers are within this string of numbers. If I were to say 3,000, let's say 300,000, 501, 300,502, 300,503, 300,504, 300,505, 300,506, 300,507, 300,508, 3,000. I'm saying 3,000. All right, 300,507, 300,508, 300,509, 300,510. You've probably never heard those numbers in that order before. But that's 10 numbers that I'm sure you're going to be able to remember. And if you need to remember anything, what you'll struggle to remember is the number I started with. Because you're not hearing it as a set of numbers. You're hearing it as an idea that represents that string of numbers. And so if we extract that out to like it's one of its furthest extents, if I just, an infinite string of numbers, and that is the set of numbers from 1 to infinity. The set of integers, it doesn't have to be integers, but we'll just keep it like that. The set of integers from 1 to infinity. That represents an infinite string of numbers, much more than 5. So it's the same thing here. So we're not memorizing notes. We're not memorizing all this information. We're taking all these bits of information and finding, to me, this is what music theory is. This is this web. Creating this web that's as dense as possible, that has as many different points on it that I can map these things onto so that I can make sense of whatever series of notes hit my brain, whether it's me hearing it externally or hearing it inside my head. Or perhaps it's a visual form of it. Maybe I'm looking at the music. And that's like what this is all about. Just like the hokey pokey. what is the hokey pokey? Is it just the series of movements? Is that really what it's all about, or is there something implied beyond the movements? So a certain amount, because we're not in the matrix and we can't just plug things into our brain, certain amount of time must be spent. But you can cut down on the amount of time by being smarter. This is so not worth it, but I don't care. 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 This is worth it for just 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds. You can do it. You have to put in time, but it's okay. Work smarter, not harder. You can do it. You'll succeed. There's nothing stopping you. Your potential is unlimited. The world is your oyster. Buy. Sell. This is the part where we rage. It is. Lola, thank you for the 100 bits. Startup. Think tank. Work smart and hard. That's like, take Aesop's fable, slow and steady wins the race. No, it doesn't. But that's the best advice for the most part, because what really wins the race is fast and steady, as long as you don't burn out. Close-up shots of you typing on your laptop. Inspiration.
Yeah, hurry.
It's Dave got some apples. You want it? All right. Are you inspired? Good. No? Well, what if I do this? What if I play some inspiring music for you? You want to be inspired? Inspired, you can do it. Anyone can do it. You just have to put your mind to it. You can do it. You can do it. Any questions? Just figured out what the last number of pi is. It's 0, nothing. You think you have pi? Boo, boo. What's up, Kato? Right. Music. Imagine his final symphonies is a semitone lower than it was written. Maybe. There's no way to know for sure. What Al is referring to, for those who are like, what? Beethoven, although I think most people maybe, if not certainly a significant number of people, think that Beethoven was like always deaf. But he wasn't. He became more and more deaf later in life, and we still can't even know completely for sure if it was just absolutely gone or if it's just hearing degraded significantly. But let's say it was just completely gone. Some people, not everyone, but some people who have perfect pitch, their sense of what note they're hearing shifts. So they think everything in their head, everything starts to sound lower. Have I always cracked? Wait, I didn't. Oh, like this? I have. Is that what I just did? I didn't even realize. I don't know. Although the thing in the video has the guy doing this, but not for cracking your nose, but just doing this to split him up. But I feel like that's... Well, he actually does it like this, but he says to press in here. That could be the reason why they separate? Wait, why they do or why they don't separate well? On a horn because it was loud enough for him to hear. Yeah, it's tough to say. There's so many like stories about things musically. Why they do while you're playing your guitar? Wait, my fingers separate because I press them. I do this. Yeah, I'm confused. I saw that video that Rick Beato did. Yeah. And I've known, well, you know who actually said in a video somewhat recently, our friend Jacob Collier was saying that already he's 26, and he said his sense of pitch is already shifting and going down. He's already starting to hear things slightly off, but because of his training of hearing things like such a specific degree. So it's not just, he's not as good as Dylan when it comes to hearing multiple notes at once, but one of his super trained abilities is hearing pitches in between and knowing like this isn't just an A, but like it's an A that's like 10 cents too sharp, something like that. So I saw on a live stream he did maybe a year ago, was it, or something? I don't know. Somewhat recently. That he has to compensate for it because things are already starting to get off. But that doesn't happen to everyone. But you can, because and this is what the people are doing who are deaf, who play, I'd imagine, is that they're hearing this stuff in their head, and everyone can do it, and everyone needs to do it. Needs. You don't need to do anything. You can sit there. You can do whatever the hell you want. Do whatever you want in life. But yeah. Okay. So Mo. So Fair asked about why different scales and modes evoke different emotion. Who and how it was established. Yeah. So. They don't stay together? Oh, I see what you mean. You're talking about these two. But I never do, well, maybe a little bit. Pushing these apart like that? Does that mean, does that mean I should spend just as much time doing this? You can still train relative pitch. Yeah. Well, he doesn't have to worry. Those are like special cases of people with perfect pitch where it's being altered. Everything's being shifted. Essentially like pressing the transposition button in your brain. Okay, so the modes. So why different modes and scales evoke different emotions is similar to just the larger question of why chords and songs and stuff like that evoke different emotions. And it's a combination. People seem to want to say it's one or the other, but like it is a combination. Oh, I only started doing this since I started playing guitar seriously. So unless you can actually mess something up past the age of, I don't know, 19. And I didn't even do this right when I started studying guitar. So, and I actually tried to do it here, but well, if they're delicate, I'm gonna move them back this way. So people are like, it's a result of culture. It's just inherent. It's both, and it depends on what part of what it is we're hearing. So, there's things like this. There are things we tend to hear as consonant or dissonant, and that's okay. By its nature, it's subjective, but again, I don't mean it in the sense that we kind of usually use it. Because usually we say subjective to mean it's like arbitrary and it's up to each person. That's not what I mean. I mean it's a sensory thing. So this is, you get a subjective feeling of this being dissonant, but that's people across the board. So it's like you could say it's objectively dissonant. Like it just is. This is something you can point to. I know we can't see the sound normally with our eyes, but we can see the sound with like an oscilloscope. And that thing is physically existing. It's existing. This isn't. This is the same for everybody. The thing you're experiencing exists in the world. This isn't some intangible, abstract thing. Maybe we should do it this way. Where this is fundamentally different than this. But these just aren't the same. This, there's less interference. Well, not interference, but there's actually less, well, dissonance. Maybe you could say interference. Because of the fact that the frequencies here that you're hearing because they're a much simpler ratio, the frequencies of one to the other, of the wavelengths of the sound, because the fraction is simpler, we don't get as much of that like dissonance as opposed. So this is actually even less, an octave. We can see what our ears are hearing. I'll show you what our ears are hearing. Also, no, quantum mechanics should not be used for any of this. Quantum mechanics has nothing directly to do with this.
Really see here, this is my scope and it's warming up. You can see the dots not where.
I wonder if this one's better. Okay, 3 different videos for a second. This is a way to visualize what you're hearing and what your brain is doing with these intervals. That was this is a major second. That's this. A minor third, a major third. Look at what happens when you get to a perfect fourth. You see something is fundamentally different than the things we had just seen before. And look at a perfect fifth. Oh, sorry, that's that's a tritone. Whoops. That is a perfect fifth. A minor sixth, a major sixth, a minor seventh, a major seventh, and an octave. Okay, so if this is an octave, and this is a single note, okay, so this is a single note, this is an octave. This perfect fifth is super. Look at how close a perfect fifth is to an octave. But it oscillates somewhat. But it's so close. It's so close. And even this perfect fourth, this is, so it's almost like the farther these are away from being a sphere or a torus, a toroid, torus, a donut shape, the less dissonant it sounds, which is why we start with this again and see how this is super close. Like this is super close to a donut. That's this. We move away from it and it starts to, we can like clearly see the edges now. Like, yeah, it still makes what, a wheel of cheese? Representation of a nerve. No, this is like if you use an oscilloscope, something like this.
That is to say it's off center. Well, while the dot's warming up, let's take a look at the.
You can map the frequencies in a certain way. You can change the way you do it. Watch.
We get set up and to the sounds like the x-axis here.
Here.
Go ahead and see what kind of sounds it can make. I'm gonna open up the x-axis here. exciting that way anyway. Otherwise they just sit there. So I'm gonna go ahead and play through the musical intervals real quick. Is it unison? We got
I don't like that he's doing it
minor
specifically
second.
with it out of tune. It's creating it's adding another variable into this that doesn't need to be there.
Major second. Minor third. Major third. Perfect fourth.
Let's see, look at how stable, look at how relative. God, I wish he wasn't doing it with the out of tune.
Tritone.
It's a bracelet.
Perfect fifth.
Boom! Look at that! Look at that! Again, that's with some out of tune notes. So it should
Minor
be
sixth. Major seventh.
octave.
This is a major seventh and a minor second at the same time.
So now he's playing chords. How come it sounds so chaotic and looks so beautiful? That is another super important thing to think about that people need to understand, including scientists who study this stuff. I don't care who you are. I can see when people make mistakes here in this place. And okay. We have to be super careful about what it means to be consonant and dissonant versus what it means to be enjoyable versus not enjoyable. And context matters for those two. Different types of context matters. Here's an example. Bonsoir, Aikata. Okay. This, we'll use an example from yesterday. Well, we'll make it even nastier. Okay, that sounds pretty bad. Quel est le menu? How do you say nerdy stuff? We're learning about, well, we're exploring different aspects of musics. Triad? Yeah, partly. Okay, if I play this for you, you guys are probably like, stop, stop. But what if I do this? Or what if I do this? You can see, here's the anti-cheat. Keysight is the anti-cheat device. How about this? So what's the deal? I specifically played this one. Or how about this? Ian mentioned tritone. Well, what about this? What the heck? You have to leave. Okay, because I don't know. Oh. Or I've mentioned this before. Oh, oh. I always refer to this as musical cheating. These 3 notes. But listen, this is a minor second. But like, holy shit, is this... Oh. So that's part of it. That's part of it. So we have to be very careful to realize that chaotic things or dissonant things doesn't equal bad. Again, this is more dissonant than this. And is more dissonant. And anything is more chaotic than just going. But I don't think anyone here, I'm using this as like the most extreme, I'm taking this example to the extreme. I don't think anyone's going to tell me that no piece of music is better than this, just hearing a single note, right? So it's about control of this stuff. It's about context. It gives it emotional intensity. Yeah, just like a movie that has no plot or no tension, or a story that has no tension, is boring. It's like, it just is. So we need this stuff, and these things are also colors. They're different colors. We can think about it like that, too. So another way to think about that, I mentioned in the beginning of the stream, I said, well, equal tempered thirds are annoying to me anyway. Here's why.
This is the sound and visual image of a pure harmonic third, an A and a C sharp. This is the tempered version, as played by a modern piano or guitar, clearly out of tune.
So he's talking about... It's easier to hear when it's lower.
This is the pure harmonic fifth, an A
Look at
and
that.
an E.
That's a fifth.
And the tempered version of a fifth, again, out of tune.
This is why in these visualizations we were looking at, that it was, the fifth was looking like that. The fifth... Kashmir? So then you ask the question, well, what does it even mean by
When you
just
put
intonation
these
or
mistuned
equal?
tempered intervals together in a major chord, you can hear the rough and restless quality that Helmholtz referred to. The pure chord rings true, every interval in perfect harmonic balance.
So what we can take from this, what is there? What we can take from this is that this is a visualization of what we're hearing. One form of a visualization of what we're hearing. So that is, so now this is objectively, I'm confused how these patterns are created. I can't tell you the specifics of it, but it's essentially, it's like, it's like a graphical representation of ratios, maybe you could say. I wish I could give a technical explanation. And so what they're talking about here, though, when it comes to these pure intervals, well, what is the just intonation intervals? That is, well, actually, we can do this. Okay, this perfect fifth.
Harmonic fifth. An A.
This perfect fifth right here is up an octave. So this is a fifth given to us by nature. This cannot be contextual. This cannot be cultural. No culture invented physics. Does that make sense? Cultures did not invent the fundamental laws of physics. And so if I play, yes, this string has frets, but trust me that it doesn't matter that it has frets. I'm not using the frets. But if I play these frets, if I divide the string in half, this is what I mean by simple ratios. This is the ratio of 1 to 2. And this is 1/3, or actually 2 to 3, or 1/3. Yeah, 1/3. It's dividing the string into 3 equal parts, 4 equal parts, 5. Whoops. 6. I'm gonna go back to E because it's easier to hear. Okay. So this is the thing. This is dividing in half. 3 equal parts. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that was these notes. Oops. You can hear the out of tune. So, in this vibrating object, it doesn't. This has always been the case and always will be the case that in this object you heard this. Let's take away some of the repeated notes just for the sake of me being able to hold them down. You heard this. Oh, actually this thing. So within this, and then if you wanted, so these are the notes given to us by nature. These are the notes given to us by the laws of physics. Nature we get more notes too, but they start to get kind of crazy. They start to get really wonky, but if you notice, the first notes here are also, we have E, another E, B, E, G, B. Well, this is look at how many of these really strong frequencies we've played, and there's still just our 3 notes that make up an E major chord. Which is probably why there's such a high preference for these notes and just triads like this. But if we take these notes, for one, we get a dominant ninth chord. This is E9. So when I'm playing this E, you're sort of hearing an E9 chord, but some of these notes are just incredibly weak. Can you hear that F sharp? Can you hear it? And I wish I had saved the video, but essentially what happens is, okay, so we're given these notes. These notes are very strongly given by so without repeating anything, we get this. Okay, if we want to hit all these notes in the most efficient way possible. And what I mean by efficient, I mean is by dividing it into as few number of segments as possible. Well, if we divide it by this, well, then we go up again. That doesn't work. We went past this. Okay. That doesn't work. That's a. Oh, well, that actually that kind of works a little bit, but now we've missed some of our notes. That's better. We missed some of them. That's a major second. If we divide it by this interval, we get 12 equal segments that divides this octave and gets to hit all these notes. I know in Middle Eastern, so people always say that, and it's true, but okay. I get, to be honest, I get a tiny bit frustrated when that gets brought up because I feel like it does more harm than good. So what do I mean by that? It's not really like a complete look at the picture. I'll use this as an example. People often bring up Indian music too. I know why they do it, but it's not beneficial. I'll show you why. Okay.
Ragas are such an integral part of Indian classical music. They bring in so much of life and color.
But this is
into a song.
well, these are the notes. These are the notes if you want to split this octave in as few number of spaces while still hitting these notes given to us by physics. So no one like decided on these notes I'm playing. So you can divide it. I mean, you could divide it up into 24, but the number of notes given to us by nature to a strong degree, we don't get that much benefit from the amount of extra effort put in by doubling the number of notes we have in an octave, if that makes sense. but this is, and not just for you specifically, but it gets just brought up all the time.
In fact, they pretty much define the mood and the ambience created by a song, right? Now there are thousands of ragas out there, and the journey through ragas is never ending. But let's take a small step today and learn some fundamental concepts about ragas that you must know as a student of Carnatic music. Let's begin. The simplest way to classify ragas is in terms of how many swaras it has, right? Now some ragas have all the 7 swaras. They are called Sampurna ragas.
Okay, some of them have all 7. 7 what? Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, di, na. Pa, da, ni. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni. Yeah, interesting. What people tend to use as the example, the perfect example of how music is so different across cultures, it's a little frustrating because it does everybody a disservice, and it also comes from a place of ignorance in the attempt to show the opposite of ignorance.
Sampurna means complete or full. Now Sampurna ragas can be of different types. Some of them will have a very systematic sequence in Arohanam and Avarohanam. You can see that it's just going up and coming down. For example, Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So there were no jumps or zigzag notes.
So outside of the what could be, I'm hesitant to use the word ornamentation. Because in their musical system, like, it is part of it, but it would be, I feel like, just as foolish as to pretend that, you know, even as it's listed here, that there aren't these like 7 really fundamental tones that are part of this. So,
and coming down. For example, Sari ga ma pa da ni sa.
I just played that on the keyboard.
Sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. So there were no jumps or zigzag notes in the Arohanam and Avarohanam. So such ragas are called Melakarta ragas or parent ragas. So a parent raga would usually have all the 7 swaras.
But this also gets back to the initial question that Fair had about why we feel these things, who came up with it or something. It's like, we didn't really come up with it. And these things aren't this is like, who, you know, did we invent or discover math? And it's neither. You know, at the risk of sounding like a jerk, the answer is that the question is wrong and that we model these things. So physics models the universe, math models the universe, music, these theories that we're talking about, what we're doing, we're modeling something. In fact, music is almost a form of modeling an aspect of physics or multiple aspects of physics. And some of those aspects have to do with time, and the other is vibrations and how things vibrate. So these are particular models, very abstract, weird models that...
And it would be in a systematic...
But no one invented music and no one discovered music. It's not something to be found or to be created.
Sequential order. So why are they called parent ragas? Because
I just want some more.
Sari ga ma pa da ni sa sa ni da pa ma ga ri sa. This is a parent or Melakarta raga. From this raga,
and so even within that, there's the main notes being hit are found on the keyboard.
That is abogi. Ri ga ma da sa sa da ma ga ri sa.
And even that is a pentatonic scale.
And from the same parent raga, if we remove ga and da swaras, we get Madhyamavati.
And so someone may be like, and people, well, they almost usually never say this because if they say it in the first place, well, if they are referring to this stuff in the first place, they would, I feel like, never even bring it up. But if this stuff was arbitrary and cultural, what are the chances that even if these ornamentation things are crucial to the music, what are the chances? What are the chances that it just happens to line up this carefully? It's like, or perhaps, maybe a better explanation. Say, also, what are the chances it just happens to line up with the laws of physics that the people wouldn't have known about until after creating these systems? Maybe, just maybe, and I'm being somewhat snarky here, that we have a connection, our manipulation of this thing, if it were to be arbitrary, why not have it based on something, some system that already exists, that system being the laws of nature. And so so Kokoro just said it. People created and played music before you even knew about this. So that's what I mean. So it's like, but we can't make it line up. How do you put it? Because I can't make this sound less dissonant than this. You can't, you don't get to do that. Like, that's not up to me or you or anyone. That's just how, just like, that's why I brought up the oscilloscopes, because what you're hearing, you don't get to decide. You don't get to decide this. You get to decide some parameters, but you don't get to make it so that this interval is like less chaotic than this one. You just don't get to. It's just not how it works. I don't know how else to explain it. But like, so like we didn't do any of that. That's not up to us. But to use it sounds dissonant, but to other creature it might not. Yeah, but listen to birds. Oh wait, maybe I can use this. This is from like a year ago. Hold on. One second, it's totally worth it. Oh god, where is it? I was thinking about this because this is what I don't know, this is what I think about. Don't worry, I'll find it. This is totally worth it. One second. I promise it's worth it. I don't actually promise, but I swear it's worth it. Shit. Do I not have it anymore? I must! Why would I have deleted it? Oh, here we go.
Why is it switching to that new one?
It's a mockingbird, so it changes.
I'm talking about a mockingbird. Hold on. Damn it, you can't hear it that well. Also, I'm putting it up to my ear, but that doesn't make any sense. Exactly, Akbarana. But that's why so many bird calls are like... Well, you know what? Forget about my stupid recording. Forget about my dumb recording. Okay, so not only is there like really clear pitch involved, but there's also really clear rhythms involved. Urgik, 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 urgik. Minor thirds are huge among babies, birds. It was a minor third. Oh, you know what we could actually, you know what I've seen before? One second. So what? So that's a perfect fifth. That's a perfect. Like, it's just like, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. I feel like my words aren't even important. Like, I don't need to say anything. Does this not? Does this not speak for itself? Like, what the fuck? And it repeated it. It's not just random. It's not random. It's not random. Ready? Well, that's really similar, but up a half step. And this is the thing, so we're gonna keep listening, but this is the thing I like to, I don't know about you, but I feel like this is where the actual sort of beauty and magic lies. What I mean by that is like, I don't think it's very, I don't think it captures much beauty or awe or something to be like, everything is just arbitrary and everything is just kind of made up and it's all just whatever. And sometimes I get the impression that people do that, specifically with music. Like, music can be anything, it's, you know, whatever, there's no rules, so we're, and yeah, that can be applicable to like a different part of it, but just like, the thing that's crazy to me is that there are rules. There's something tying this all together that's beyond our control. Seeing that, being like, our Western music is just whatever, man. like we just made it up and it's just arbitrary. It's like, not only is it not arbitrary, how much cooler is it that we share it with other cultures? And not only that, we share it with animals. Not only is it not just cultural, it's not even human. It's beyond human. Any Thor, what's up? We share this with animals. That to me gives me, if anything's gonna, like, I don't even know what to say. I'm sorry. Also, just these sounds. Some of these animals don't have much of a choice but to produce sounds that are found, that are like governed by the laws of physics. Because think about something that's going to use like throat singing, which is all about harmonics. Whoa. You're only going to be able to get the things that the laws of physics give you, which again is, okay. What was that? Wait a second. What? Is that an 808 like bass? What? What the fuck, dude? Starts on the same exact pitch. He's gonna end on the same pitch too. So he goes up from an E to an F sharp and lands on an F sharp. Ready? And he does it both times. Maybe it's a she, I don't know. So he goes up like... but without the individual separation. But that's what it is. It's splitting an octave. Starting a whole step below. Oh, wait. That's not there. That's not there. I can play that on the piano. It's 2 Fs. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. God damn it, dude. You know, I did my own version of something like that. I should do it again. Well, actually, hold on a second. What if I do a new version? Yeah. Is it this video? Without the new...
Most singers will tell you that.
Harriet, lie to get her voice.
Okay, I wish these people weren't talking over it. One second. Oh, come on, there's gotta be... Okay, okay. Dude, is there a way to loop a YouTube video? And I mean like loop an inner part of it? I want just this beginning part looped. I don't think so. Wait, what if you clip the stream? What if you clip just this part of the stream? Like, hold on. Okay. Now hold on a second. I have a plan.